Red and blue light spilled across the asphalt, pulsing against the windshield of the car I'd just pulled over. Routine stop, speeding, nothing more, until I saw who was behind the wheel. My wife. Her hands clutched the steering wheel too tightly, her knuckles pale. Beside her sat a man I had never seen. He didn't move, didn't flinch, just sat there with a smile that didn't belong to the moment. "License and registration," I said, voice flat, professional. She opened her purse with trembling fingers. The man next to her turned his head slowly toward me, as though he'd been waiting. Then my partner approached. One look inside, and everything changed. He reached for his weapon, pulled it free, and aimed straight at the passenger's chest. "Back off," he barked. The stranger laughed. Cold, controlled. "Unfortunately, you're late." I didn't understand, not yet. But when my wife leaned forward, I saw her back, and the bruises. Old, layered, hidden until now. Something inside me went quiet. I should have reacted, should have asked questions, but the silence between us was heavier than any scream. She didn't look at me, not once. Her eyes stayed fixed on the dash, as though acknowledging me would burn her alive. And him? He just sat there, smug, like the entire night was his design. Later, when the car was impounded, when my partner and I stood in the dark parking lot with unanswered questions, I replayed every detail. The way she flinched when his hand brushed hers. The way her lips parted but no sound came. She hadn't been caught speeding. She had been running. And I was too blind to see it until that moment. The betrayal wasn't simple infidelity. It was darker, twisted. She had let him inside her life, and he had left his mark where I was supposed to protect her. I didn't confront her, not immediately. I went home, sat in the silence of our bedroom, touched the side of the bed she no longer occupied. Then I started pulling at the threads. Phone records, her credit card statements, patterns that revealed nights away, unexplained charges, a second phone. Every breadcrumb led back to him, a man with no real name, no stable address, but a history buried in sealed files. Violence, extortion, recruitment. She hadn't fallen in love. She had fallen into a trap. But the part that gutted me wasn't her weakness. It was the choice she made when she realized what he was. She didn't run to me. She didn't trust me. She let him own her, and in her silence, she betrayed me more deeply than her body ever could. The file landed on my desk 2 weeks later. Everything was there. Photos, depositions, evidence that he was no stranger to manipulation. He made women into shields, into weapons, into shadows of themselves. And my wife was now one of them. I didn't ask her if it was true. I didn't give her the chance to lie. Instead, I laid the file on the kitchen table. Her eyes dropped to the photographs, the signatures, the proof. Her lips trembled. A single word escaped, barely audible. "Please." That was all. No denial, no explanation. I said nothing. I simply sat back, watching the collapse unfold. The truth had always been there. Now she was forced to look at it. The next day, I brought the file to Internal Affairs. Not against her, against him. Names, connections, evidence linking him to cases buried in silence. He wasn't just her secret. He was a rot spreading through the very system I swore to serve. And she knew I had the power to destroy him. When she begged me not to, when she reached for my hand with the same trembling fingers that had once touched me with love, I didn't move. I only looked at her, steady, detached. "You chose him," I said. And with those words, I walked away. They arrested him 3 nights later. I didn't go to the trial. I didn't need to. His smirk would be gone by then, replaced by the hollow eyes of a man who finally ran out of masks. As for her, She left the house before dawn one morning, took nothing but a suitcase. No note, no apology. The bed is cold now, the silence louder. But it's a silence I can live with, because I've learned something about betrayal. It doesn't scream, it doesn't fight. It sits quietly beside you until one day you finally see the bruises. And once you see them, you can never unsee them again.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.